Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. Today is Wednesday, June 26, 2013. We're looking at several markets today, starting off with the Dow Jones Industrial Average here in the United States of America. And as you know, yesterday we talked about the bounce was potential for that bounce was coming, and we see that happening today. That's fine. What we told you, it was a dead cat bounce. It just basically means everything, no market went straight down. So you can see a move to the downside, then you bounce to the upside. It's fine. Don't buy it. You're looking for a sell opportunity. And this is what I'm looking at right here on this chart. You can see that in an uptrend, you will find support at the 50-period moving average, this red line right here. So you find support here, you bounce up, you pull back down, you find support at it again, you bounce up, you pull back down, you find support at it again. But once you close below the 50-period moving average support, just like any other support trend line or horizontal line or whatever you would draw, would start to act as resistance. So this would indicate you might have another 1 day to the upside before you hit that resistance line and get a shooting star or some kind of a sell signal in the next couple of days, and then start to move lower here and test this low down here. Again, this will be indicated also by the ultimate oscillator. Typically in a bearish condition, you will peak out at the 60 line, like you see right here. So whenever you have that condition, you look at that and you find your timing that way. You can say, well, when it gets up to the 60 line, look for it to start to peak out. And that would make a lot of sense here. We have another day to the upside here as well by that actual analysis. Another way to do that would simply be, let me get this out right here, would simply be to look at this low point here and here, or you can use the closes if you like, and just draw yourself a little trend line like that. You can still see a bounce up here, find resistance right there, turn around. Again, it shows about a day to the upside before we roll over here. And clean that up. It should be noted whenever you're looking at these bounces, you don't have to bet the farm or 1 day to the next. Doesn't really matter that much. What I'm telling you about, you have another day to the upside, maybe it could roll over for all I know tomorrow, and just to do that kind of number. But what I'm looking at here when I'm seeing these charts, a couple things that tell me that we can still press the upside, and that's the fact that you look at this candlestick formation here and then this one here, it's larger. That would indicate that there's still expansion going on here. So whenever that starts to fail and you start to see it get smaller and different candlestick formation showing some kind of a hesitation, like maybe this or something like that, that would be indicating the top situation a lot better. So we haven't quite seen that yet, so we'll be watching for it to press up. But the main thing here, whenever you're looking at that, it's not the most important factor. The most important element is the trend, and the trend from the high point to the low to the high to the low. There's a lower series of highs from here to here and lower series of lows from here to here. Any bounce in here that doesn't take out this high is still nothing more than a downtrend. Quick glance here at the trend of the Dow Jones Transportation Average. We talked about this yesterday in the chart that we were showing you. There's no hammer candlestick formation at the bottom here. This is not a true bottom, just like this one. We told you the same thing. There's no hammer candlestick formation. This bounce is nothing more than a dead cat bounce. You look for the sell signal and look for it to start to roll over and go lower. This thing, same thing. You bounced up here. We've actually already got a sell signal here. Doesn't mean it has to roll over. That's why it's a black arrow here that I put on the chart. It just means look for confirmation, which means the following day we have to give you selling pressure, that kind of thing. But you can still press the upside, form another shooting star, form a lot of different things, and to come up here and not take out this high, then you're still in overall a downtrend. The bounce is not to be trusted. The bottom is not a true bottom, and we're looking to take this overall level out. Quick glance here at the NASDAQ. You can see same basic overall story developing here. A little bit more trouble in this chart than there is on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can see that we have got this peak and we pull back down, low point, lower high, lower low, and so forth and so on. But then we get this bounce here, and there's a couple things to know about that bounce. And we talked about the bounce before it happened, but the main thing here is this little move that you have here. Look at the size of this candlestick formation, the actual size from the high to the low. It's larger than the one that followed, and then the one that followed was even smaller than that. This candlestick formation, the doji, if you will, it's an indecision period. It's a point where traders don't know what to do, and this makes a lot of sense. Again, you've closed below the 50-period moving average. Now you should find resistance when you get up to that point, and that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing a lot of people saying, no, I don't want to rally up here. At the same time, you look at previous situation where you see the bounce, and that forms again, and then we start to get sell signals and rolling over and so on. So again, right here, not a strong place, yet you could still see a move to the upside. Note 53.91, you're not at the 60 line yet, where you typically peak out on the ultimate oscillator. So you could still press up here, and again with the gap still above us here, you could still fill that gap. But again, the overall trend would still be down, and nothing would have changed in that environment. Even if you got way up here, if you cannot take out this line here, you're still in an overall downtrend and looking to be moving lower. Quick glance here at the Russell 2000 Small Cap Index. The same basic overall story. You're in the downtrend. You can see the high point here, low point, lower high, lower low. Now we've closed below the 50-period moving average, and this little bounce that we have, we get a gap here, and we come up here and we find resistance. That's what that wick out of the top means. Price activity rallied up here, and sellers pushed it back down. Sellers are stronger at that level than the buyers are. Again, it doesn't mean you have to roll over today or tomorrow. You can actually still press up here a little bit further, but you're getting the sell signs at that 50-period moving average. That's important to note. Again, the ultimate oscillator indicates you can press a little bit higher. That'd be fine, but as long as you can't take out this level here, you know that you're still in an overall downtrend. This is just a dead cat bounce before we come back here and continue to press lower. We have lots of gaps below us. Quick glance here at the SPX, the S&P 500 Large Cap Index. This one again would be indicating that you could still see another move to the upside here before we get to that 50-period moving average, that red line right there. That would also be in line with the middle Bollinger Band line, where you typically find resistance there, like you did here, like you did close from here as well. And that's all important because it would tell you that's where you're going to see your top. So I look for tomorrow something happen, you start to get some selling, and then on Fridays people taking profits on the long side ahead of the weekend, things like that. I could see this moving down here again by the end of the week. Again, I want to point out, you find support in an uptrend. When you break down, you close below that 50-period moving average, you will not find support like you did here or here. You will find resistance. So again, upside is limited here. Dead cat bounce. The overall trend is clearly down. There's nothing to do here. Look for sell opportunities. Let's take a moment to look at the VIX, the volatility index. This runs the inverse or the opposite of the S&P 500. And we talked about this. It was last Friday maybe. I told you that we'll be looking for an opportunity to buy the VIX and sell the S&P once you had filled this gap here. That happened today, and you'll notice that you have what some people might look at this as a sell signal. It's not. It's actually whenever you're making a move to the upside and you get, like for example, let me get the tools out. If you were to see something like this, where you have this scenario here, you bounce and then you get a sell signal here, that's a sell signal because you bounce and then form it. If you go this way and then you form that signal, you're actually saying look for it to go the other way. And so this is what happens in this scenario here. You rallied up here, you pull back down, and you formed it. So you look for this to bounce to the upside. It's again telling you to do that. So again, this is a situation where we're confirming that the S&P does not have a lot of upside potential left in it. You might have a day left, and then you're going to see the VIX showing some strength. You're going to pull back down here to find strength at the 50-period moving average. You'll notice also the bullish condition here, where 50-period is crossing above the 200-period. That's very bullish for the VIX, which means it would be very bearish for the S&P 500. Remember, they run the inverse of one another. So again, this is a very bullish chart here, and it would be very bearish for the S&P and overall markets. Quick little announcement here. If you go to the trade section of the website, you will find a new swing trade there that was actually showing you, teaching you how to read a particular chart there. Those charts will be posted, and those videos I should say, will be posted on this website nightly. So check them out. They'll teach you all kinds of things that you may not know and show you different opportunities that are in the market currently. Okay. If you dive into the free website at perfectstockalert.com, well, there it is. It's 100% free, and all we ask in return, please refer a friend. Thank you very much for you guys' support and your comments, and it helps us to make a better website. Thank you very much. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. The information provided herein is our opinion only. Under no circumstances do any statements here represent a recommendation to buy or sell securities or make any kind of an investment. You are responsible for your own due diligence. To summarize, we do not provide investment advice, nor do we make any claims or promises that any information here will lead to a profit, loss, or any other result. These videos are for educational purposes only.